It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesant Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesant.
Well, he's been the mayor for 13 months here in Hazleton. Mayor Joe Iannuzzi. The city has over 25,000 people and it's growing. However, there are a lot of concerns that many people have about Hazleton. Maybe half of them rumors, maybe half of them facts. Today I have Mayor Iannuzzi on the show to try to bring us up to date as to what really is happening in Hazleton. Mayor, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How about you, Sam?
I'm doing terrific.
Thank you for having me here.
It's a pleasure. Well, as Mayor Barletta and you two, I'd like to have the mayors on, congressmen, to fill us in on what's going on, so we could cut through all of the rhetoric and all the nonsense that sometimes you hear. Let me ask you this: when you sat here and talked about the financial condition of Hazleton,
Right.
Okay? Does my memory serve me correct that you did say that Hazleton is coming along financially,
Yes.
and that we're not in
Right.
dire need?
Right, exactly. I had said when I was sworn in the first time that it's all about the money, and Hazleton was in bad shape financially. We were $1.4 million in the hole in the 2009 audit, so we made some changes. We raised the taxes. We came out last year $30,000 in the debt from $1.4 million, so that was pretty good. Now, 2011, we think we're going to break even. So I think Hazleton's pretty close. We've had some increases in our expense, and I brought this to council this time with a new budget. And in the new budget, we had some costs that went up, so I had asked for a small increase. They gave it to me, and we'll have a balanced budget. So we're not financially in trouble.
So, is the city of Hazleton facing bankruptcy?
No, not at all.
All right, so we're hearing, via some councilmen that, without question, Hazleton is in serious trouble.
Right.
I didn't say trouble, but the word is serious trouble.
We have our problems, and one of the problems will be after 2012 and 2013, we will lose $600,000 in income. That doesn't mean we're going bankrupt. That means we have to do something.
I'm going to address that a little later on the show about that $600,000 and what is being said after that. But, okay, so as I just mentioned to you, Samson Productions
Yes.
and my wife and I have purchased this property, okay? Hopefully everything's been approved so far. We just have to do the final signing of papers, okay? So we made a major investment, as well as many other people in this area who live here, okay?
Right.
What do you plan on doing to see the developing? Is there anything in the works that you can share with us in development of Hazleton? Not necessarily Broad Street, but
No,
in the
but
development.
we've been doing things, and one thing that recently happened is I think the Angelos have moved downtown in the Marco building. Now that's 22 jobs. That's a nice little plant out in Humboldt, so we're bringing it downtown here. It's going to be a little bit more activity downtown, a little bit more money downtown, so some of the downtown businesses will benefit from this. And I'm glad you picked downtown, because the way that the town is, the way Broad Street's shaping up, the way it's starting to look, I think the new image, the police is making it safer downtown. I think it's going to be a great place to have
we're down here all the time, okay? And I think sometimes we've talked about perception. I had Donna Palermo on here and from the chamber. They're working diligently. We're all trying to work diligently to keep our image here. There's no question sometimes we struggle with our image, okay? And maybe there's a perception out there that the image could be better, all right? So in order to, you had mentioned, the police department, you hired more police, okay?
Yes. And
so,
they just started last week.
So how many do we have now?
We have 40,
40.
actually
And
41.
so what is your goal, Mayor?
My goal is to hit the 40, because basically the proper amount would be probably 2 for every 1,000, and which would be 50.
Yeah.
We're at 40, so it's 1 2/3 or whatever. We're pretty close.
Code enforcement and health officers. Now that seems to be, when people drive through the town, as you do. Yeah, I think that maybe they think you do not see all of the junk and the crap that's on the streets, etc. They may think, where is Mayor? You live downtown, okay?
Yes.
So what's being done in those areas, Joe?
Well, as you know, last year I brought on a part-time health officer and 2 part-time code officers. And they've done a tremendous job so far, but there's so much to be done that is not noticeable yet out there in the public, but we know what's going on. We're making changes. Matter of fact, we just had meetings today where we're going to reorganize the code and health department. We met with all the employees, we got their suggestions and that, and we're formulating something that should work well. They've been on, all the calls have been coming in, they've been picking them up. They're out there looking for problems now. So we're doing well. It just needs time.
What happens is when I have you on the show, okay, and people will come up to me and say, Sam, did he go up? I'm just using numbers. Did he go up First Street? Did he see what's happening? Does he know that this guy has 4 pit bulls? Does he know that they're having cockfights with the roosters? And does he know that people are not? And the question is, certainly I can't answer for you, but I would think that that you are aware of some of these things.
Yes, I'm aware of the problems out. There's some terrible properties here. Let's face it, and we can't get them all solved at once, and we're trying really hard, but it's very difficult. You can't go in and shut a place down, and go in and make them do this and make them do that. We have to go the legal route, and the legal route takes time, and that's our biggest problem. So, but we have people in certain stages that we're pressuring them now, where the citations are building up, and hopefully they'll either make the change or have to pay.
What kind of mayor will you be? Will you be a mayor that's going to just say, well, let's see if we can get along, or will you be strong in areas to send a message? Because sometimes you need to send a strong message.
Wow.
It's just like the dad and the kids. Right. If you think you could get away with it, and then until the dad pulls the strap out, then all of a sudden he knows he means business. Okay, so what kind of mayor do you think should we? Well,
that's what we have to do. We have to change this perception of it's an easy town to get away with things, and that's not going to happen anymore. It's going to be a tough town, and we've been tough so far. It just hasn't shown out there yet. But the word is out that our code enforcement, our health are out there, and they are citing people, and it's going to cost money if you don't correct your property.
One of the things sometimes with our local news, we provide information. If it's public information, because sometimes people do not know that last week you cited 55 people. Some people don't know that you cited 25. Some people don't know that this person was that, or this, is that public information?
Yes, it is, and you could probably get it through the Right to Know Act, but I would give it to you as soon as we set up this new system where we're going to have all of our code enforcement officers and health officers place exactly what they're doing throughout the day, and once we get an accumulation of it, we can give you a report.
Not that we're
like the crime report.
Yes.
How many crimes did you have?
Not that we don't say you're not doing them, but here again, you have people that they didn't get to that area yet. And some people think that, nothing's being done in those areas.
No.
And once you start exposing people for what they've done, then word gets out very quickly. You better get your act straightened out, okay?
Right.
I think, Joe, you, born and raised here, okay, knowing a lot of people who have their homes here, worked hard for their homes, then a certain element comes in, and I'm not picking on any nationality, but could care less. Criminal, that's right. And they don't care about their homes. They don't care about their properties. They don't. They disrespect people. They disrespect anybody.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I'm hoping something's going to be done about that. I'm talking, folks, to Mayor Joe Iannuzzi. A lot of questions coming up about what's happening in the city of Hazleton. I don't know if you just heard me, but Samson Productions made a major investment, as well as many others did. The Hayden family, a lot of people, Mia's Restaurant, a lot of people downtown, the Felons, you name the areas here. The companies that are here, Hazel Drug, major people that have been investing a lot of money in the town of Hazleton, because we're proud. We come back, we're going to talk about, we're certain we're not going into bankruptcy, or Does he want to sell the water department? What about regionalization? Okay, and what direction are we going into? Stay with us. Welcome to the Sam LaSan Show, folks. Remember, Tomican Mountain Spring Water, folks, is the official water of SSP TV and Samson Productions. JoJo's selling this water in the Beltway. Or when you go and ask for water, ask for Tomican Mountain Spring Water. It's the official water of Samson Productions, SSP TV, and also Starbucks uses this water. Don't forget. And folks, yes, folks, I'm using this every day. For those of you who are saying, are you still taking Monavie? Along with my PRN omega-3s, which I take religiously, take a couple shots of Monavie. Dan Pizzala, give him a call, folks, and he'll tell you about this great stuff. Joe, you should try it. I'm telling you, it's great stuff. Mayor Yannuzzi, been here for 13 months. All right. This year, we're going to get $600,000 from Hazel Creek Properties. And let me just say this, a side note for Hazel Creek Properties. Bill Rinaldi and his group took a major challenge when they came here. They were criticized, they were condemned, etc. And now everybody in the state is fighting for what we have here, right. And we made a lot of money, and it's good stuff. So all of those rumors, again, rumors, and all of the naysayers, you know. So hats off go to Bill Rinaldi and Hazel.
He did all the trial and error. He did all, and he took all the abuse and proved that dredge is not a bad thing.
They're fighting for it. The cities are fighting for it.
We can't get it now.
You can't get it now, okay? $600,000, okay. Yeah. So what the rumor is, okay, or what people are saying, including in some, in council, that, you know, when this $600,000 is gone, okay, you need to do something. And the first thing you're going to do, and you're setting it up now very nicely, is to sell the Water Authority.
That was brought up years ago, and I was in favor of it. You know, in favor of selling the water. But then Lou was the mayor, and Lou made a deal with the water company, and we went with it. We signed it, and it hasn't been brought up since. It's over 2 years now, and we never brought it up. Jackie Monday, for some reason, this is his baby, and he thinks we're selling it, and he's got this idea, and he's out there professing that we're selling it. And we haven't even mentioned it. He's the only one that's mentioned it.
Why do you think that is?
Well, let me just put it this way and be truthful. Yeah. He has control of the water company. He's losing control, and he doesn't like it. And his back's against the wall, and he's trying to say that we're going to sell it to get the 40 employees all excited that work up there, and get some of the people that are in favor of not selling excited. And it's not happening. It's never off the table, I'll say that much, but it's not happening. We never even mentioned it in all these years, for 2 years.
Well, I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just mentioning, you know, what you hear. Well, okay, I do not sit there. I know sometimes people have to make decisions that a lot of people don't understand, or are not, because they're not in the mix of it. Okay, so I just want to know whether it's, you know, is it on the table now that
it's always on the table. Yeah. Always on the table. I mean, let's put it that way. But I have never mentioned anything about selling. I don't have intentions of selling it. If somebody offered us money, then we'd have to consider it, but not yet.
So $580,000 you're going to be short next year, right? Okay, and that's 2013. What do you plan on doing to get $520,000
or
$80,000?
Well, I'll tell you a very simple way. Is gaming money. They have $12 million of gaming money that's given to the Luzerne County to give out, and they've decided to give it to DCED and then have each municipality go beg for some special project, and they're trying to be very creative and come up with all these projects and ask for money, and then they disperse this $12 million. My project, and I'm working with Tara Toohill about this, is take that $12 million and divide it up per population of Luzerne County, which is 308,000 people. It works out somewhere around $37 a person. Give it back to the municipalities by their population. We have 25,000. We'll get over $900,000. There, end of solution.
And everybody gets a fair share.
Everybody gets a fair share. Put stipulations on it. You can't do certain things with it. You can't go out and buy and hire 10 people. You know, you can pay your bills. You can do this. You can do other projects. Put a little stipulation on it. It would balance our budget. It would take every municipality in Luzerne County out of the red.
So you're saying the 12 million bucks now goes to where?
DCED, they handle it. They bring it in. Then they say to us, come to us and ask for grants.
So for the sake of the viewers who do not know what DC,
The Department of Community and Economic Development.
okay, it goes to them.
Right.
All right. And then how do you get a part of that?
I go
right
and-
now.
I go and I write some project that I want to do. I want to build a dam out here, you know, and I put that in. I want to take a building and remodel it. I bring it there. I want a playground. I want a monument. Anything I could think of.
And who
I start
approves that?
They do.
And who's they? Is that a committee?
DCED,
Okay.
a committee from DCED.
So it's a committee. Are they located in Harrisburg? Or?
Yes.
Okay. So it could become a political thing to
It is.
Yeah.
Not become. It is a political
So
thing.
here again, part of the nonsense that you see.
Right.
Okay.
So they could take that money.
Yes.
And make a block grant. Have you heard of block grant?
Yes.
Comes from the government.
Yeah.
So much per population. They give it to the major cities. So they could give it to every municipality in the city. I mean, in the county of Luzerne, and everybody would get it.
Now, this is Dan Muser part of? Is that under his Department of Revenue?
He's.
He's the Secretary of Revenue. But
Yeah, he would
is that
probably
is that
be in that, right.
Is that under his?
He'd probably be involved in that.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he seems to be, and on my show, he seems to be a very fair person.
Yes.
And I think, as I
Yes,
told
I
the
know
governor,
Dan.
yeah. So what would you, have you done anything in terms of making that approach?
I've mentioned it a few times, and I got some good response.
See,
Some of
Joe-
the senators and representatives
Yeah.
like it. Some don't, because they come to hand the check out.
Okay.
You know, when you win a grant, they come and give you the check. and
Well, they can still give you the check.
Right.
They could come and say, here, Joe, here's $900,000. They'll get
Yeah.
your picture taken, get local news 13. They could be on television,
Right,
be in the
right.
standard speaker, so they could have a lot going.
But
for
we've
them.
had special projects such as putting monuments up for former politicians, you know, playgrounds, parks, things we can't afford at this time. Where every municipality is in financial trouble. Spread it around for a couple of years, give it back to the municipalities and let them get even.
See, Joe, once again, you're talking common sense. See, and when you start talking common sense, it just like it goes beyond the politicians because,
Right.
and that's what I'm hoping and praying that the transition, and whether it would have been a Republican sweep
Right.
or a Democrat sweep, I'm hoping that with Corbett and the new administration, and here again, not because it's Republican or Democrat, it could have been the reverse, that common sense starts becoming a factor. I think Corbett really has a sense of some of these things.
Right.
Because what you're saying just makes, we did it at the community college. We were down here, we had 25% of the population. Well, as chairman of the board, I said, well, we got 25%. We should have 25% people, and we should be represented 25. And thank God Ethel Price
Right.
and Ed Weideman decided
Right.
that they went with me. Folks, I'm talking to Mayor Yannuzzi. What about the image of Hazleton, and why should we be proud of Hazleton, okay? And doing away with some of the negativism, because it's our town, folks. We live here, and we should be proud of it. We'll talk about hopefully a major thing that will be happening in Hazleton within the next, maybe for the year, right after this. Thanks for staying with us, folks. Remember, watch us on ssptv.com. Hey, folks, did you happen to see our new website? It's unbelievable. Folks, we are getting over close to 100,000 hits every month and growing. It is fantastic, up-to-the-minute news. Go to our website, ssptv.com. Also, you can watch any of our Sam LaSan show, and all our shows are archived. Mayor Yannuzzi is my guest. Mayor, with the 37% Hispanic Hazleton residents right now in Hazleton, we're trying to bridge the gap here, have people work together. Yes, we do have some people that should not be here, and believe me, I know you guys are working on it. With that being said, how do you see bridging the gap, with working together?
Well, I think we have to get the Hispanic community involved in our community. They're sort of hiding back, staying in their own little groups. They have their own little Chamber of Commerce, is their business association, whatever it is. They seem to hang together. We got to get in there and start getting them to break loose and start to intermingle so we can make them part of Hazleton in the growth for Hazleton. That's going to eventually happen 20 years down the road when the second generation comes around, but right now we need it now. And I think Joe Madden is, he's pushing the younger groups on that, but we would like to see the group that is here right now to get involved with us.
One of the things we talked about, the Standard Speaker, I spoke to the publisher, Scott Lynett, and John Patton, and we talked about how can we as a media, working with the government, city government, make Hazleton proud. I come up with a slogan called Hazleton Proud, and we're going to have a lot more to say about that, But just to give a nonsense about the fact that my thoughts were, we have a city where people are living here, Joe. We live here. We make investments here. Our kids, we want to have the best we can. And I think there's a lot of great things that are in Hazleton that we have to put a spotlight on. Hoping and praying that you are doing what you say you're doing, and cleaning up little at a time, people will begin to see that improvement. Some of the things, if you were going to Philadelphia, or if you were going to Allentown or Reading, or speaking about Hazleton, what would be some of the things that you feel we should be proud of as Hazleton residents and people who, not only Hazleton residents, but people who live in the area?
Hazleton's a great town. You got to talk about the positives in Hazleton. What happens is we end up talking about the negatives. We keep saying how bad this is and how bad that is, and nothing but negative. We never talk about the positive. Downtown's starting to flourish. It is. In this economy, downtown is changing. The Wyoming Street's full. There's stores coming downtown. There's restaurants opening up. I mean, why don't we talk about that? Why don't we talk about we are employed here. We did such a comeback from years ago when we were relying on the coal and relying on the silk mill, and now here we are. We're versatile. We have an awful lot of plants of different things that they manufacture. So I think we have to talk positive and negative and change the image. And we are number one in having to do that. We have to change our own mind in what about Hazleton.
So, as a mayor, you are fully aware of what's happening in this town in terms of blight, in terms of people who are throwing their garbage on the floor, people who have these cockfights, people who have those pit bulls, people who have no respect for their neighbors. You're well aware of that, Yes. And you're working on that?
Yes, I am, and we're working hard on it because there's nothing like having a clean town to give you that image.
Yes.
Your first impression, your lasting impression. Actually, I drove through Hazleton. It's a pigsty. You don't want to hear that. You went through Hazleton. What a nice little town. And most of the people that drive through it say that, but the people that live here say the opposite.
Joe, I have it all the time. People who come in from New York, friends of mine from the different media groups, they'll come in and they'll say, boy, what a nice town you have here, And, we're growing. Mayor, I hope this won't be the first time that we won't be seeing you in a long time. I'd like to have you on. Just to bring us up to so we deal with facts and not hearsay and rumors. Folks, according to Mayor Iannuzzi, the city is not going bankrupt, that they're doing fine. Could always do a lot better. There is not selling the water authority. It's everything's always on the table. Everything's always up for sale, according to what the mayor says. Surveillance cameras, there's over 34 right now and growing. You're being watched, so those people who think you're going to do some things, you're on candid camera. And the image, we're going to be working on it along with my media partner friends, the Standard Speaker. We're working on a project called Hazleton Proud. And we're hoping that the community will join us with that and be able to agree to disagree on some things. But we have a great town here, folks, and let's be proud of it. We'll see you next time.